Dissonance, a lit RPG adventure unbound, book 1 by Nikolai Gonella. Is it one of the worst books ever written in the lit RPG genre? No, probably not. Probably not. But I can say with some authority that I do not think it would be at all embarrassed entering that particular competition. And that was surprising to me. It was a huge, disappointing surprise to me, but a surprise to me nonetheless. Because at 6,345 ratings, and if we scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and we see these marks here and here, 1% 2-star, 1% 1-star, 74% 5-star rating. This must be a great book. In fact, it must be a great series, because there's like 7 books in the series right now. So I was looking forward to sitting down and enjoying me a nice, well-done lit RPG. And unfortunately, I can say that this is one of the times where I really started wondering if people really do somehow manage to bot reviews. Because this thing's terrible, and normally I do this completely spoiler-free, but it's hard to do spoiler-free in a book where nothing happens. Like, how do you possibly spoil it? Nothing happens. That was a spoiler. This book is 778 pages. Nothing happens in it. That's the first problem. And now I know people who read it would be like, no, all this happened. Let's go through it in a broad stroke sort of way. Book opens up. You got your main character, good old Felix. Is that his real name? No, he changes it. Don't worry about it. All right, so this person who becomes Felix. He's in, modern day Earth, and he's going to a party. He doesn't like his life. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. His life sucks, and he gets yeeted out of there to another world. Another world where he's completely weak. You got my attention so far. Okay. Landing on a world, he's completely weak. He's immediately in over his head in danger. Okay, you're getting my attention. This looks like it's got something starting here. Looks like we got the beginnings of an actual fairly reasonable lit RPG. Carry on. No, not going to carry on. That's pretty much it. Yeah, the first 38%, yeah, that's pretty much it. The early chapter where he's establishing his previous life and on another world, the minute he sets foot in another world, it's complete wish fulfillment from the rest of the book. The author just completely hands this character everything he possibly wants. You need skills? Here you go. Have skills. In fact, I bookmarked it. I bookmarked it this time. Hold on. All right, so just check. By the time that they are about page crap, I forgot what it's like, 31 or whatever, you're about 30-ish% through the book, and they establish that the main character has obtained about 48 skills. Yeah, 48 skills and titles and just stuff. Just stuff. How did he do that? Well, the first 38% of the book is a training montage where the character's in a forest and he's just killing things randomly. That's the first 30% of the book. Doesn't run into anyone else. And nothing that he actually does really matters throughout the entire thing. Occasionally you'll have my pet peeve of the century where he'll do something and then there's going to be an italics on how you're supposed to feel about that. Like you'll have the whole italics, that was intense, or an italics, I'm being changed by these skills. Not because they're showing you that in any way, shape, or form. That the author is just telling you, this exposition is supposed to make you feel this way. It's so mind-numbingly, it's D-tier writing. It's maybe C if you really stretch, but no. It's just meaningless stat dumps every couple of pages. I'm not even joking about that. Every couple of pages, there's more stats being thrown at the main character, and they're learning another skill, and that's randomly leveling up, and then they progress a couple of pages, and then You have like 5 other skills that just leveled up because I don't know, he stumbled on a rock and like hurt his toe or something. So he gets like a whole bunch of stat ups there, and then he passes out or something for no reason. He gets a title, and he goes over here and he passes out and he gets a title, and he goes over here and like, ooh, he avoided a flying thing, so he gets like 5 more skill ups and like another new skill. And it's just, I feel so bad for the author. I really do, because I can tell that he wanted to not just write a generic OP novel, right? Where the character is really struggling and fighting for, advancement and improvement and to be all nice and powerful and whatnot. And he doesn't realize that all he's doing is spending like, what was it, 38? So about 300 pages of just doing like a storm in a teacup. Just because you italicize that something was intense, just because you italicize that, oh, things are really tough, just because you italicize that time passes like 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever, that's nothing. That doesn't mean the character's actually going through a lot unless they're going through something that's actively changing and having an impact on the story. If something is actually touching upon either the character's life or another character's life, or like adjusting events in your story, you're not doing anything that you think you're doing at all. He could have had this character pop into the world immediately with all the skills leveled up and what have you, and it would have been the exact same thing, because nothing meaningful happens from point A to point B 30-40%, where he finally runs into someone else for the first time in the book. Like that whole isolated training montage thing that you're doing, none of that mattered. And a good editor would have told you, you need to cut this out, or you need to make this be more relevant to the story, because this is trash. And yeah, I hope you like, if you do have the misfortune of, reading this book, you're going to be treated to stat dumps and character sheets constantly. Like every chapter, it's just like, you're actually getting full stat dumps of all 49 skills that he has, or whatever it was, 48, 49, whatever. And sometimes you're going to find chapters where they have the skill dumps, and then, ooh, he's rearranging how they're ordered. And that was the chapter, him rearranging the order of the skills so he can read them better. But okay, so you get through that. You get through that disgusting garbage. He finally meets people, right? He's finally in another world, in this really, really, in the fog lands, they're called. He doesn't see the fog. It's something that people see. Again, the author just allowed him to just see right through it, because, again, every single time the author just keeps throwing more stuff at the main character to get them through anything that they encounter. Literally anything and everything. You need gear, here you go. You need weapons, here you go. You need, hey, you need some new clothes? Great, here you go. I know you don't know how, this is like the first time you've been in the wilderness, and now we could have you trying to figure out how to actually survive and fish or do something to be able to sustain yourself. No, it's fine. I'm going to put at your feet herbs that you can just, down, and they're sustenance. It's fine. Don't worry. Yeah, just pick the herb. There you go. You don't have to worry about hunting or anything or learning anything or making meaningful choices. No, it's right there. Just put that in your mouth and you're good to go. So, all right, after all of that garbage, they finally meet some characters. So now the question is, okay, we're through that. The opening was truly terrible. But let's see if the character interacts with other characters are going to be good. Will they have meaningful dialogue? Will the dialogue actually be natural? Will it flow organically? Or is it going to be stilted? And are we just running into a bunch of yes men who are just going to be like, rah, rah, go main character? And what do you think? What do you think? If you have not read this book before, what do you think the first character they're going to come across is? Think about this. Think about the silliest trope that a lot of these books go into. What is it? Who does he find? Who does he find? You know who he finds. Now that he's all jacked up. Come on, who does he find? You know it. You know it. Come on, you know it. Yeah, he finds a noble girl in distress. Good old damsel in distress. Because it just sucks. Yeah, they're out there for a reason. I'm going to spoil the crap out of that one, too. And yeah, he just goes and finds her and rescues her and punches the thing that she's fighting to death. And then she takes him back to the party, and they're in trouble, and he starts like punching stuff there too. And I'll give him points for not being complete yes men. They're trying to he like the author obviously like, okay, yeah, I can't let him just be on the side of the MC from, from day one. So the person in charge of the party is gonna be a little bit at you. In the sense that they completely welcome him into the party and, treat him as one of the party and just take him back to their base and give him their food and, all that stuff. But they try to be like, oh, I don't know if we trust you. And that's because they say that out loud. They don't really act on it anyway. He's allowed to walk behind them. He's allowed to fight beside them. He's allowed to know where they're residing. He's allowed to do like all of that stuff. But they say they don't trust him, when in reality they completely trust him, literally with their lives, because they're right next. You're letting him be right next to you when you're sleeping. So yeah, clearly they completely trust him and they're fully on board with Team MC. But the author tried to write that it's not, but the actions completely belie everything else that they're saying. So yeah, complete utter Team MC. So the question then is, where are they? Well, they're in the Foglands, and this group is also now in the Foglands. And why are they there? Because we're learning, because we're told, we don't really see it, but we're told that this is like the most dangerous part of the world that you've ever did see. And there's monsters and stuff here, and it's so not good and super hush-hush and really hard to get allowed to even be in this area. And the person in charge of the party is taking these other people in here to power level. They're literally says it in the book. Their terms straight out of the video game. They're being power leveled in this area, supposedly. That's why they're there. And to be fair, he tries his hardest to have intrigue. He really does. The intrigue is that the leader here is for other reasons. There's 100 people that have gone missing. And, they're there to, try to help them. Because everyone else was just writing them off. Because apparently they always do that kind of thing. When you can't really figure out, intrigue or, subtle world building. Just have, like, a whole bunch of evil happening. And that's your world building. That's, like, your political stuff that's going on. It's always a bunch of people who are being killed for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, people have been, they essentially been kidnapped, looking to uncover a relic or something. And the leader is here when no one else wants to find them. And we're supposed to care about that, but we don't. And they brought these trainees along, 'cause that's the only way they would be allowed. That's the only way they would be allowed to go into this area. Is if they had like official permission for this training thing, which doesn't make any sense. Who's going to like, wrap your head around that bit of stupidity for a minute. How would that work exactly? Like, these other two people who are leading, let's say they went off. They didn't have permission. Let's say they just went on into the Foglands. Are you going to send an army out after them? Because the people are going out there to, try to see if the 100 people who went missing are still alive. So if you're not sending people after them, the 100 people, you're not going to send them after 2. That doesn't even make any sense. They could literally walk straight out and do whatever they want. It doesn't make sense. None of the plot makes sense ever in this entire book. There's huge gaping holes around everything that they say or do. From how the main character just gets all the stats he ever wants and all the abilities that he ever wants and finds all the cool stuff that he ever wants, to like his interactions with the people who say one thing and do something completely different, to the reasons why they're there at all, to this weird assassin-like person who's not an assassin but is totally an assassin that's trailing the other team, that you find out why later on. Like, nothing anybody does in this book makes any sense. It's just the author, like, apparently thought there was a lot of really cool stuff that he wanted in his book, so he put that in there. And that's gonna have no effect on anything. No one ever like really reflects on anything. Like events don't really change the characters in any way. But he does love the training montage because that's all this book is from start to finish. It's just nothing but training montage. It's like the first 38 is a training montage, and then he winds up into the people. The people identify where the captives are, and so they promptly go on another training montage. Really, they're being killed. But no, I need we need to figure out what everyone's abilities are. So we're gonna go over here and fight a bunch of monsters because we want to give you all more special abilities. Yeah, we need to make sure that you're all Super Saiyan. So we're gonna go over here now that we found out where they are, and you're all gonna get cool like special stuff, and then we can go fight them. Because that's what you do when you're on a rescue op, right? You identify them. You identify that the hostages are taking casualties. Um, you should go off and train for a bit more. Yeah, yeah, they're all gonna die, but of course they don't all die because the author is plot armoring the crap out of everything. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. Nothing even tries to make sense. The book just sucks from start to finish. And I'm stunned because 6,000 I have no idea. It's a bad thing. It's a really bad thing in my opinion. When here are the popular highlights for your book. Okay? When your popular highlights for the book are a stat dump. This is a stat dump. You can't see it, sorry. But yeah, this is a stat dump. Soul of Fire, Lost Race, +1 to Will, Int, Dex, Endurance per level, +5 bonus stats per level, minus XP gains. All choices have consequence. That's also funny. The author likes saying that repeatedly. All choices have consequences. None of the choices have consequences. None. That's garbage. Ignore it. The idea of a consequence in this book is telling you that a character fell unconscious for an hour and then that's it, over and done with. Never heard about it, never heard or referenced that ever again. Didn't have any impact on anything. That's the consequence. It's stupid. Another second most apparently highlighted here is Bulwark of the Innocent, 10% strength and vitality. This is the most interesting in your book. Is a stat dump. Not an interaction with a character, not anything, poignant and memorable. It's just a stat dump, because that's what this book is. Stat dump of the series. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. I'm not going to torment myself by reading another page of this. No, I'm done. I'm over it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just pissed that this thing sucks so much. And yeah, I read it. I hope you never have to.